Hello, and just from the looks of this title, I know you guys are excited to finally see this because it's been a long time coming. So if you didn't read the title, what? Anyways, welcome to another episode of How to Fix. And on this episode, I'll finally be tackling Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. So I'm definitely not going to drag out this intro and keep you guys waiting. Without further ado, let's get into it.
So for starters, I actually liked this movie, so I wasn't going to try to fix it. But because I never uploaded phase 2 of How to Fix the Sonyverse, I decided just to make it up to you guys and give you something that you asked for. I mean, some of you guys were excited. I mean, look at this guy. He said he can't wait. Another one said, hell yeah, man. Look at this one. This says it's going to be good. And you're damn right it's going to be good. Alright, I'm getting off topic. Enough fooling around. Here's the long-awaited video of how to fix Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Now, first things first, we gotta get rid of the villain of this movie. I'm not even sure he's an actual character from the Transformers universe. Just some original movie garbage. I know what you're thinking. Tylen, we just can't have a Transformers movie without a villain. And to that concern, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the new villain of Revenge of the Fallen. Shockwave. That's right, the villain of Transformers 2 is now Shockwave. Now before I get into the main story, I want to talk about the overall concept of this movie. Now the title of this movie is called Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. You see it right there, it says Fallen. But in the case of the original movie, it meant this loser. But in the case of my new improved awesome movie, it means Revenge of the Fallen Decepticons from the original movie and Cybertron. Okay, now that we got that out the way, let's finally get into the story of this new movie. So instead of that crappy flashback with Optimus narrating, before time, there was the cube, you know, whatever he says, I just remember it being long and boring. So instead of that, the movie will start with Megatron's dead body being dropped into the ocean. And from here, you'd see the body laying dormant in the deep blue sea until suddenly a beacon begins to beep from his chest. We are then shown a crazy looking satellite floating in space. The satellite happens to be Soundwave, and he hears the beacon being played because, well, he's a satellite. He then uses his cool sound waves from his transformation, see what I did there? And sends the signal through space. We then see the signal travel through space until we are faced with the ruins of Cybertron. And as we travel through the ruins of Cybertron, where we see many disfigured and crappy looking Decepticons, they're just rummaging about until they finally begin to hear the signal. One of them speaks in the Cybertronian language, and we see that he has commanded one of the Decepticons to inform the scientists. The camera then pans to a destroyed Cybertronian lab where we see Shockwave working away at a disfigured Decepticon. He transmits the signal, revealing a message from Soundwave. Megatron is dead. Activate Operation Fallen. Shockwave acknowledges the message, and he then transforms and rendezvous to Earth. On Earth, the events play off the same way they did in the original movie. Nest is revealed, yada yada, no more racist robots though. Anyways, just as Optimus is about to execute that giant tire Decepticon, the tire tells him that Operation Fallen has commenced. Prime acknowledges this as he shamelessly executes the Decepticon. The commander guy then asks Prime what is Operation Fallen, and unfortunately, Prime has no clue as they rendezvous back to base. Now we're on Sam's story. Again, it'll still play out like the original. Sam's still going to college, but this time he's able to take Bumblebee with him. And I'm making this decision because I'd like to see more fun scenes with Bee interacting with more humans, and to also cut the screen time to Sam's parents to like the beginning of that first scene. And again, just like in the original, Sam still has the shard of the Allspark. So after everything plays out with Bumblebee fighting the kitchen appliances, Sam decides to take the shard to college. And he does this because Optimus and the other Autobots are fighting with Nest, so he can't contact Optimus to tell him. Also, he has Bumblebee with him, so he thinks he's fine. And now I know what you're thinking. Why doesn't he just tell Bumblebee? Well, Sam's a dumb college freshman. He just wants to party and live his college life with a sweet car, so he doesn't really think twice after the kitchen appliance incident. So after all the college shenanigans, we are then brought back to space where we see a satellite Soundwave. He and Shockwave are close comrades. They're wave homies, and keep in contact while Shockwave makes his trip to Earth. Now while Shockwave's been away, he's been practicing in the resurrection of fallen Decepticons and Autobots, but he's always failed. In this universe, Shockwave is a twisted scientist who's experimented on the Transformers during the Battle of Cybertron. He'd slice them in half, put spiders in them, just to figure out how to resurrect them. So as he and Soundwave are conversing, Soundwave asks him how long it's been since he's practiced on Cybertronian resurrection. Shockwave tells him that he hasn't practiced it, but instead studied the different methods on how to do it. One method he found was with the Allspark. Soundwave acknowledges this and tells him the Allspark was last seen on Earth. Shockwave once again acknowledges this and tells Soundwave to find the Allspark. And so we'd get a scene where Soundwave is trying to find the shard of the Allspark, and in order to do so, he searches the web and government computers until he finds a shard located in Nest headquarters. And then this is where I would insert that scene where Ravage infiltrates a military base and steals the shard of the Allspark. Now, as Soundwave is searching the internet, he stumbles across a news story that is covering an intergalactic attack that happened at a residence. The news story then interviews an older couple that tells the reporter everything that happened. There were these robots, and they destroyed everything. They blew up my vignettes. You know, like stupid Michael Bay humor. Meanwhile, Sam is still doing college things. He goes to class and is about to present a project until suddenly he begins to tweak out. Writing Cybertronian hieroglyphics on the chalkboard, just freaking everyone out. One student begins to record what's happening until Sam is asked to leave the class. Sam then leaves the classroom and heads back to his dorm, confused about what just happened. On his way back, he reaches into his pocket to see if the shard is still there, but to his surprise, it's not. Sam begins to freak out as he rushes back to his dorm. He arrives back to his dorm and bombards his roommate with a multitude of questions. Did you see a shard laying here? Did you remember me putting a shard in my pocket? His roommate, who's the same guy from the movie before, I forgot to mention that, answers no to every question. Sam then freaks out and heads to Bumblebee. Meanwhile, at Nest headquarters, the Autobots are informed that there was a breach at one of the military bases. Here we will see our new cast of Autobots, which include Optimus, Ironhide, Ratchet, Prowl, and Sideswipe. Optimus remembers what the tire robot had told him and suspects the Decepticons are planning something. He then sends Sideswipe and Ironhide to the base to figure out what attacked and where it went. Now with that, we now have our main plot and our two subplots for this movie, with our main plot being Shockwave reviving the fallen Decepticons, and the subplots being Sam and Bumblebee looking for their shard for the Allspark, while the Autobots attempt to figure out what attacked the base. Sam and Bumblebee are sitting in the parking garage of Sam's college campus. Sam then calls Michaela and tells her that he lost the shard. Michaela obviously freaks out and then tells Sam that she'll meet him on campus in a few hours. After talking to Michaela, Sam then opens up his phone to, what was this, 2009? MySpace, to see a video of his classroom freakout trending. Bumblebee laughs at Sam as he's embarrassed by the video. While watching, Sam notices a slight glow coming from his pocket. He asks B if he notices the glowing in the video, and B answers yes. Before they can examine the video further, Sam gets a call from his parents. Sam answers the call and is informed that the dean of the school had called him due to Sam's outburst. Sam tells his parents that he's alright and just had an extreme muscle spasm from working out. His parents then tell him the dean wanted to visit him in his dorm and would be there in the next 5 minutes. Sam acknowledges this and quickly hurries back to his dorm. Meanwhile, sitting perched on top of the Witwicky house, Laserbeak investigates the ruins of their backyard. He then receives a message from Soundwave telling him that he's traced the call between Sam and his parents. Soundwave then runs a quick background check on Sam, realizing that he was in the battle from the first movie and is a part of the Witwicky bloodline. Soundwave then stumbles across Sam's freakout video on MySpace and quickly notices that the writings on the chalkboard are the same hieroglyphics used in Cybertron. Shockwave, who's on the other line, tells the two that the boy must know something about the Allspark. Laserbeak acknowledges this and heads to where the call was traced from, which is Sam's college. The Autobots arrive at the base. They examine the destruction, noticing tiny paw prints on the ground. With their minds combined, they immediately put two and two together and realized Ravage was the culprit. Now, after some fun dialogue between Sideswipe and Ironhide, they inform Prime that Soundwave is behind the attack. Prime acknowledges this and he and Ratchet inform Nest of Soundwave's arrival. Now, the reason I sent Sideswipe and Ironhide is because in Transformers 3, these two kind of had a student mentor, teacher-mentor relationship. Anyway, Sam arrives back to his dorm where he's surprisingly greeted by Michaela. She asks Sam did he find the shard, and to her dismay, Sam says no. But before they can speak any further, Sam shows Michaela the video of his freakout and asks if she sees the glowing coming from his pocket. Michaela notices the glow and asks to see Sam's thigh. Sam reluctantly takes his pants off and shows Michaela his thigh, and the two notice a burn wound. Before they can examine it further, the dean of the school shows up to their door. Insert funny sex joke here. He and Sam converse as Sam awkwardly attempts to put his pants on. Suddenly, just as the dean is about to punish Sam for having a girl in his dorm, he gets gunned down in front of them. Laserbeak slowly floats into the apartment just as Sam's roommate arrives. Sam tells his roommates to run, but it's too late as Laserbeak murders him as well. Laserbeak has that dog in him. Laserbeak asks Sam about the Allspark, but Sam has no clue what he's talking about.
Maybe this will get you to talk,
Laserbeak says as he then grabs Sam and chucks him out of the window. Michaela attempts to fight off Laserbeak, but is thrown into Sam's dresser. Sam nearly falls to his death until he is caught by Bumblebee. Chaos erupts on campus as Sam tells Bumblebee Michaela's still up there. Bee acknowledges this and jumps onto the building to grab Michaela. But Laserbeak pounces onto Bee's face, attempting to peck his eyes. With that, Bee and Laserbeak are now fighting. And it's a pretty awesome fight too. I'm talking explosions, crumbling buildings, you know, all that good Michael Bay stuff. Sam calls for Michaela, and there's a tense scene where Sam attempts to guide Michaela down from his dorm. After Michaela and Sam reunite, Bumblebee defeats Laserbeak. Bumblebee grabs the bird by his bird neck.
Sorry, little side note. I'm reading the script right now, and I've totally forgot I put the words bird neck in here, so I don't know, that was pretty funny.
And attempts to interrogate him. But before he can do so, there's a massive airstrike that implodes onto the campus. This sends the three flying back as Bee grabs Sam and Michaela and drives away from the campus. While in the car, Sam wonders what that explosion was until suddenly another explosion erupts in front of them. Bumblebee quickly transforms and stops himself from colliding with the explosion. The three watch as a Cybertronian aircraft proceeds to transform in front of them, revealing Shockwave. The Decepticon slowly walks towards the three. Bumblebee glares at him as he signals Sam and Michaela to run and hide. Shockwave notices the two running and attempts to chase after them, but is stopped by Bumblebee. The two then proceed to fight. Shockwave makes light work with Bumblebee before calling in his little drill monster. Now we have a scene where Sam and Michaela are running through the city while being chased by this drill monster, all while Bumblebee and Shockwave battle throughout the city. The scene eventually ends with Shockwave beating the crap out of Bumblebee, allowing him and Laserbeak to capture Sam. Before leaving, Shockwave tells Bumblebee, "Tell Prime I will be waiting for him," leaving Michaela and Bee behind. And Bumblebee, he gets beaten. When I say crap, I mean crap. Like, tears this man's arm off, breaks his face and stuff. Bumblebee he's pretty busted up. Bumblebee immediately sends a distress signal to Prime, letting him know that Sam has been captured. Shockwave, Laserbeak, and Sam arrive at a nearby forest, where Ravage, Barricade, Jetfighter, and the Combiner bots that make Devastator wait for him. He's then greeted by Starscream, who has taken the place of Megatron as leader of the Decepticons. The two bicker and banter with each other, with Shockwave calling Starscream a coward for not attempting to revive Megatron or making a move against the Autobots. There is then a divide between the Decepticons. Shockwave, being as smart as he is, begins to manipulate the Decepticons into turning against Starscream, while Starscream reminds them of why Shockwave was casted out from Cybertron. You see, Shockwave was so obsessed with learning how to resurrect the dead that he purposely began to let his comrades die in order to use them for experiments. Once Megatron found this out, he left Shockwave to die on Cybertron alone. Now I know what you're thinking. If Megatron didn't like what Shockwave was doing, why would he send a beacon to him in the first place? Well, Megatron wants to win by any means necessary. Plus, if you were to die prematurely, wouldn't you want to do whatever to get your life back? Shockwave ends up winning the debate by letting the Decepticons choose a coward like Starscream or bring back the leader who promised them victory long ago. Sam is still watching all this, by the way. The Decepticons choose to bring back Megatron, and as a result, they kill Starscream, tear him limb from limb. Ravage hands Shockwave the shard of the Allspark as the two Combiner bots bring Megatron's body towards him. With the shard, Shockwave begins to operate on Megatron, bringing him back to life. Megatron lets out a loud roar as he stands to his feet. But something's off. Megatron's a bit sluggish. Shockwave knew this was going to happen and tells the Decepticons that Sam is the key to restoring Megatron back to his normal health. Shockwave tells him that the shard that was with Sam has embedded itself within his skin. Basically, he's become one with the shard. What he wrote on the board in the classroom was the coordinates to a source of Energon on Earth. The Decepticons then escort Megatron's zombified body to the coordinates. Now at this point, we would get a scene where we take a trip into Megatron's mind. This would basically be the building blocks as to why he's absolutely insane in Transformers 3. And it would basically be a scene like the animated series where Megatron is just a conscience, like he's just a head, and he's aware of what's happening but he can't move. As this is happening, he is greeted by a familiar voice, Starscream. Megatron is confused. Why is Starscream here? They share a brain now? The short answer to that is yes. You see, Starscream has a possessive start. Totally forgot the name and couldn't find it in time for this video, but basically his spark is able to possess empty vessels. So as soon as he died, his spark jumped into Megatron's body. These two exchange banter until they come to an agreement that in order to survive, they must work together. The Decepticons arrive at the coordinates. They place Megatron's body onto the ground before attempting to use Sam to find the exact spot. Laserbeak holds Sam down while Ravage attempts to bite down on his head so that Shockwave can access his brain and analyze it. But just before they do so, the Autobots attack. Optimus immediately makes a beeline towards Shockwave and the two begin fighting. Shockwave commands his drill worm to attack Prime, throwing him off target. Using this as a distraction and an advantage, he then makes the perfect assumption to where the Energon is and fires into the ground. With his assumption being correct, he then kicks the body of Megatron into the pit, allowing him to absorb the Energon. Optimus continues his fight with the drill worm, and this thing is just slinging him into the ground, into trees. It's a pretty big fight. This fight continues until they are brought to the other side of the forest where Shockwave meets them. Optimus and Shockwave exchange dialogue. Optimus asks Shockwave how he made it to Earth and how he is back in cahoots with the Decepticons. Shockwave tells Optimus that redemption is found within everyone. He then explains to Optimus that the humans they've been protecting, Sam, has a shard of the Allspark that is the source of all things, and how he can't wait to dissect his mind. "You're not gonna touch him," Optimus says as he battles with the worm and Shockwave. Meanwhile, the Autobots continue to battle with the Decepticons. There'd be a cool scene where the Autobots are working diligently to prevent Devastator from transforming, and the Autobots seem to have the advantage until a fully powered Megatron rises from the dirt. Now it's the Autobots versus Megatron, and Megatron gives these guys the work. While this is happening, we're getting internal dialogue between Starscream and Megatron. The two seem to be working perfectly together as Starscream warns Megatron of upcoming threats while Megatron beats them up. And now, just like in the first movie, I liked how when Megatron first appeared in the final battle, the Autobots immediately retreat. Because, you know, bro was too strong for them. So that's exactly what happens here. Suddenly, as Megatron is watching the Autobots retreat, a sharp pain shoots through his body. Starscream is confused as Megatron transforms and immediately rockets towards Shockwave's location. Meanwhile, Shockwave is getting mollywopped by Optimus. You know, he's trying to hold his best with his worm, but you know, Optimus has that dog in him. Suddenly, before Optimus can do any more damage, Megatron transforms and backhands him, sending him flying away. Optimus stops himself by slamming his feet into the ground. He and Megatron exchange glances. Megatron turns to Shockwave and asks him what just happened. Shockwave tells him that while operating on him, he placed a response beacon in him. This means if Shockwave were in great danger, he would call upon Megatron anytime he wants to. This infuriates Megatron. He's no dog on a leash. Before he can retaliate, Shockwave then commands Megatron to attack Optimus, and the two begin fighting. Now, a weak Megatron and a scientist are no match for Optimus Prime as they struggle to hold their own. Optimus manages to break off Megatron's arm before stabbing his sword into Megatron's chest. After he does this, he then kicks him away. Shockwave attempts to sneak up behind Optimus, but Optimus is aware of this and immediately takes care of the Decepticon. Just as Optimus is about to finish off Shockwave, he is knocked off course by a jet. The jet then transforms, revealing itself to be Jetfire. Optimus and Jetfire exchange glances before fighting. Jetfire is nearly on par with Optimus. While fighting, Optimus senses that Jetfire's heart/spark is not fully immersed with the Decepticons. He attempts to persuade Jetfire to join the Autobots, but Jetfire doesn't listen. Suddenly, Shockwave and Megatron, against his will, attack Optimus. Enter cool forest fight here. Except Jetfire manages to slice off Optimus's arm, making this fight like 1,000 times cooler because, you know, Optimus is now fighting with one arm. Optimus cracks down and clutches the 3v1, not before being drilled in the side by Shockwave's drill monster. This catches Prime off guard as he collapses to his knees. The drill then holds Prime down as Shockwave removes his spark, killing him. Shockwave then tells Jetfire to take Optimus's body to use for experimenting. Remembering what Prime said to him, Jetfire takes his body. He then transforms and follows the others. Back at base, the Autobots, Sam, and Ness are having a debacle. Megatron is alive, and the Autobots have no way to counter him. B is out of commission, and they also have no clue where Prime is. Suddenly, Ratchet is informed that Prime's signal has gone offline. The Autobots feel hopeless as they hear this news. Sam tends to Bumblebee, thinking about how he could have absorbed the shard. Michaela then approaches him and the two have a nice conversation. Sam then remembers the video of his freakout, the hieroglyphics that were used. He traces the hieroglyphics onto a sheet of paper and hands them to Prowl, who in this universe started off as a Cybertronian student studying ancient Cybertronian techniques, technology, and languages. Prowl translates the hieroglyphics, telling Sam that they're about the Matrix of Leadership. Prowl then informs the group about the Matrix and where it came from, yada yada, you know, all that good stuff. Prowl then tells the group that the translation says the Matrix is located within the Chosen One. I know that sounds goofy from a surface level, but it'll make sense in the final battle. Prowl informs them that the history of the Transformers goes all the way back to ancient times. Here we would see a scene with Drift and Windblade as samurais during the ancient samurai Japanese times. I'm gonna look that up. Age of the Samurai, there we go. We'd also see the Dinobots roaming the Earth and some Autobots fighting in World War II. They asked Prowl of the Matrix's whereabouts and where it was last seen. Here I would keep the canon version of its origin from the original movie and how it was stored in the pyramid long ago. So after telling the group this, they head out to find the Matrix. Shockwave and the Decepticons arrive to their base, which is in the middle of the Sahara. Megatron collapses on his robo-bum. Oh my god, this script. Megatron collapses on his robo-bum looking at the many animals. Shockwave ends up killing some of the wildlife there, analyzing them and downloading those analytics. Jetfire arrives to the base, dropping the body of Optimus. Good, Shockwave says, I'll get to work in my lab. The Decepticons are confused. They're in the middle of the desert. What lab? You didn't think I came alone, did you? Shockwave says as motherfucking Astro Train arrives on the scene. A massive train arrives in front of them, scaring off the animals. A multitude of Shockwave's minions scurry out of the train as Astro Train transforms into a pop-up lab. He then grabs Optimus's body and throws him onto the table for examination. Jetfire looks at the disfigured robots, a slight feeling of sympathy towards them. How could one allow all these Cybertronians to suffer like this? He then looks at Megatron, who looks to be halfway dead. Energon oozing out of his sockets, he's wheezing all over the place. Like, you know that cough when it's got a little bass to it? Like the 808 cough. You know, that's what he's doing. Homie's a mess. Shockwave begins to operate on Prime's dead body, attempting to bring him back to life. Jetfire then tells Shockwave there's no point in trying to resurrect the dead. Look at Megatron. He's a mess. Shockwave then tells Jetfire that he didn't revive Megatron for the Decepticons, but instead himself. He then tells the Decepticons that in order for survival, they gotta let go of the past. Megatron is no more than a pawn. Megatron hears this and he gets pissed. He attempts to attack Shockwave, but Shockwave uses his distress beacon, forcing Megatron to sit down. Shockwave then asks Jetfire if he's with them or against them. Jetfire doesn't answer. He remains silent as Shockwave continues to work on Optimus. The Autobots finally arrive to Egypt, but they would go on a tiny adventure trying to find the Matrix, but instead of Jetfire, it would be Prowl leading them, just like in the original, or so I recall in the original. But anyways, they eventually find the location of the Matrix. As that scene plays out, Megatron continues to sit on the ground next to Shockwave. He and Starscream converse with each other. They're trying to figure out a way to stop Shockwave. At this point, Megatron's done. He's done fighting, he just wants to go home. He kind of wants peace. And this actually coincides with the novel ending of Dark of the Moon, in which Megatron and Optimus make a treaty with the Decepticons going to Cybertron while the Autobots hang out on Earth. So in this hypothetical universe of these non-canon movies, this ending is canon. The humans are the ones to reignite the conflict in TF4. See, everything's coming full circle. Paramount, who runs Transformers? Paramount, hire me. I'll make sure you guys get paid. Anyways, Megatron comes up with a plan to stop Shockwave, something he's never thought of doing: helping the Autobots. Still being in contact with Soundwave, Megatron sends a signal to his most loyal companion, telling him to track the location of the Autobots. Soundwave does this and says the Autobots are in Egypt. Megatron then does something that might be out of character, I don't know entirely, but this is just a completely new take on Megatron. He allows Starscream to take over his body and bicker to Shockwave. "Oh dear Leader Shockwave, we've gotten intel from Soundwave. The Autobots are in Egypt. Allow me to stand that." I can't do it. I can't do a Starscream impression. "Oh dear Leader Shockwave, we've gotten intel from Soundwave. The Autobots are in Egypt. Allow me to stand so that we may attack and assure our victory." Not bad. Not entirely bad. I liked it. Did you guys like it? Let me know. Shockwave reluctantly lets Megatron stand, telling him that they'll leave for Egypt in a couple minutes. Megatron nods as Starscream returns to control of his body. Jetfire notices how extremely weird that was for Megatron. He broke him. As the Decepticons prepare to leave, using Astro Train, Jetfire approaches Megatron, asking him why he acted the way he did. Megatron looks at Jetfire saying, "You want the same thing I do," insinuating the turn on Shockwave. They both enter Astro Train as it heads to Egypt. The Autobots part of the story still plays out the exact same like the original movie, so I'm just going to skip that and head to the final battle. After acquiring the Matrix, the Autobots send a message out to Ness telling them that they have acquired the Matrix and need an evac. Or extraction, I don't know, military mumbo jumbo. So at this point I believe the final battle is the exact same as the original, the extraction of the Matrix. Or in this case, it's the extraction of the Matrix, but in the original they were trying to use the Matrix to revive Optimus. Same thing. As the Autobots are preparing to leave Egypt, they notice a flying train circling them in the distance. "We've got company," Sideswipe says. Suddenly, in probably one of the most coolest scenes of this movie, the Combiner bots jump out of the train, and while in midair they transform, creating Devastator. Like, could you just imagine a massive Devastator falling from the sky and like landing on a pyramid or something? I don't know, I can just picture that now. And just the sound effects that would come with it would be like I don't know, maybe it's just me. The impact from Devastator landing causes a massive sandstorm, throwing the Autobots off course from the extraction zone. And now we get a scene with some more military mumbo jumbo, where Ness realizes that the Autobots are in trouble, so we'd also get a scene where a bunch of ships and jets are heading towards Egypt. Meanwhile, back in Egypt, we get a scene where the Autobots and Decepticons are shooting at each other, but the dust from the storm causes them to barely see. So I'm thinking it would be like a one take where Sam and Michaela are running through the storm while the Autobots and Decepticons are flipping through the dust and all that. And also the drill worm is there. Again, another cool scene. It'd be like on some 1917 type stuff. The dust soon settles as Megatron, Shockwave, and Jetfire exit Astro Train. Optimus' body continues to lay dormant in Astro Train, Megatron glancing over at him. Shockwave asks Megatron why the Autobots were at Egypt. Megatron shrugs his shoulders as he looks over at Jetfire. Suddenly, Jetfire punches Shockwave in the face before shooting him in the stomach. Shockwave collapses as Megatron tears off one of his antennas. Shockwave stops Megatron from doing more damage by using the distress beacon. Jetfire quickly shoots Shockwave in the chest, defeating him. Astro Train transforms and attempts to attack Jetfire, but Jetfire points his gun at Shockwave's face before shooting his arm off, disconnecting the distress beacon. Now we have ourselves a standoff as Shockwave tells Astro Train to stand down. He's still surprisingly confident. This confuses Jetfire and Megatron. Astro Train activate Operation Fallen. The real Operation Fallen. Suddenly, Astro Train begins to break apart. Undead Decepticons and Autobots breaking off of him. Shockwave knew this would happen. Now he has the traitors and the Autobots in the same place. The undead Transformers begin to overwhelm Jetfire and Megatron as they begin shooting at them. Optimus's body continues to lay dormant while the undead Transformers step over him. The Autobots hear Astro Train's screams in the distance. Sam looks over yonder to see a horde of undead bots heading towards them. Oh my god. Autobots, fire at the horde! Autobots, fire at the horde! Ratchet screams as the Autobots focus their attention on the horde. Megatron and Jetfire immediately get to high ground, Megatron contacting Soundwave. He informs them that Shockwave has betrayed the Decepticons and how they must form an alliance with the Autobots. Soundwave acknowledges this and tries to communicate with the Autobots. He's successful as he comes into contact with Ironhide. Now obviously Ironhide is pissed and is like, "You caused this, you attacked the Nest base." Soundwave says he was just following orders and tells them that their goals are the same right now, to stop Shockwave. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Or in this case, the Autobots' enemy is now Shockwave, so now the friend is the Decepticons. Look at that. Ironhide tells Soundwave that they need Optimus, Megatron being on the other line. Megatron tells them that Optimus is here. Ironhide tells them that they have the key to reviving Prime, the Matrix of leadership. Jetfire says he'll come and collect it as he transforms and makes his way to Ironhide. Megatron tells him that he'll go get Optimus as he jumps down towards the Horde.
Fools, did you forget who I am? I am Megatron.
That was good. I like that one. That was good. And this would be one of the coolest scenes in the entire franchise, where he jumps from his high ground and towards the Horde in slow motion. We got that TF1 Megatron that's got that dog in him. He proceeds to fight his way through the Horde, tearing through them. Jetfire lands towards the Autobots, quickly introducing himself. He then asks who has the key to revive Optimus. Sam holds up the Matrix towards Jetfire. Jetfire attempts to grab it, but Prowl tells him that he is the key to reviving him. Since he absorbed the shard, he has the power, or key, to revive Optimus. Jetfire acknowledges this and tells Sam to hold on as he transforms and makes his way back to Megatron. Meanwhile, Megatron sits next to Prime's dead body, surrounded by a bunch of destroyed undead Transformers. Here we get another cool scene as Megatron talks to Prime's dead body, never thinking about how he could have teamed up with him. Jetfire eventually arrives with Sam. Sam and Megatron exchange glances. "As much as I want to kill you for doing this to me, our objectives align," Megatron says. He stands up and signals Sam to revive Optimus. Sam then crawls onto Optimus and grabs the Matrix with his bare hands. He begins to spaz out as he visualizes different Cybertronian hieroglyphics. Just as he's about to revive Optimus, the drill worm erupts from the ground, knocking Sam off. Megatron and Jetfire are forced to fight the drill as Sam is knocked out from hitting his head. I'm keeping the Transformers Heaven scene because just like the World War II Transformers, I still found this concept to be cool from the original movies. It was just poorly done. But hopefully I did it better here. After seeing that, Sam awakens to see Megatron and Jetfire struggling to hold off the drill worm. Jetfire is badly injured while Megatron is still attempting to hold his own.
Hurry, boy,
Megatron screams. Sam immediately crawls onto Optimus again, this time successfully reviving him. Optimus stands to his feet and quickly helps Megatron and Jetfire defeat the drill monster. And as this is happening, the Autobots theme is playing too. Obviously I can't play it here because, copyright issues, but as that happens, Optimus thanks Sam for saving his life. He and Megatron exchange glances as a wounded Jetfire tells him everything that has happened since he died. Just as he finishes, he is shot in the chest. Jetfire collapses, telling Sam that he's still the key. Just as Sam is about to ask him what he means, Jetfire is blasted in the head. Shockwave emerges from the dust, immediately blasting Prime in the chest, causing him to collapse. Using the parts of the undead Transformer, Shockwave was able to repair himself. Megatron attempts to attack him and the two have a short fight. Obviously too weak to handle Shockwave, Megatron is immediately taken care of as Shockwave blasts his face off. Just like in the original movie, except in the original it was Optimus. "You," Shockwave screams, "you're the key. You can revive the fallen." He immediately grabs Sam, transforms and flies away. But not too far though, since he's still highly injured. Prime stands to his feet, clutching his chest. He helps Megatron to his feet as the two try to think of a plan. Being the absolute dog he is, Optimus realizes that the Matrix can revive dead Cybertronians and also transfer power. He quickly uses the Matrix to transfer Jetfire's abilities onto him and Megatron. And the way this works is like a magnet. Now not only do we have Jetfire Prime from the movies, but we now have Jetfire Megatron, which kinda looks like a Starscream Megatron fusion. Megatron feels powerful. He can take out anyone right now, but he doesn't want to do anything but kill Shockwave. With the help from Soundwave, the two immediately head towards Shockwave's location. "Autobots, roll out!" Optimus screams as he flies over the group, Megatron following behind. This rallies the Autobots as they continue to fight off the Horde. Just like in the original scene, the military and John Travolta take out Devastator, and we get that scene of Bumblebee going against that weird-looking Decepticon, except he's undead.
Okay, this is me while editing. A little editing note. I don't know why I said John Travolta. I meant John Turturro. So that's on me.
This would also be a cool "I'm back, baby" scene for Bumblebee too. Megatron and Prime soon arrive at Shockwave's location to see Shockwave attempting to operate on Sam. They exchange dialogue with Shockwave before battling. Now we'd have Prime and Megatron going against Shockwave. Pretty dope fight, but it would play out the exact same as the original. They defeat Shockwave as he tries to crawl away, but is stopped by Megatron, who rips out his stomach before pulling out his eye socket. Fatality. He then turns his attention to Prime, telling him what he says to him at the end of Dark of the Moon. Prime prepares to battle with Megatron, but Megatron doesn't. Instead, he chuckles and nods at Prime before taking off. "It was honorable to fight by your side, brother," Optimus says as he watches Megatron fly away. The Autobots soon regroup with Sam and Optimus. Just like the original movie, it ends right after the final battle, with Optimus questioning their alliance with the Decepticons. But if the Decepticons f*** around, they'll surely find out. Obviously, there'd be a big kiss scene with Mikaela and Sam as they go to get married, just like it was supposed to be in the third movie. The movie ends with Optimus looking at the Egyptian pyramids, waiting for their next battle. A post-credit scene shows Megatron sitting in the Sahara, still conversing with Starscream. The two have formed a temporary alliance. He then receives a message from Soundwave. The Sentinel has been found. Megatron chuckles as he tells Soundwave to rendezvous with him on Earth. He then turns his attention to Starscream.
"We're finally going home, my treacherous friend."
This would obviously set up the story for Dark of the Moon, which is the exact same, aside from the ending.
Was how to fix Transformers 2 Revenge of the Fallen. And obviously I think you guys can tell some time has passed. Video has been a long time coming, man. Like I said in the intro, wow, this has taken a while. And to that, I apologize. I mean, I had a lot of school stuff to balance out with that. I also have an upcoming project coming out in the fall. So I was trying to just balance all that together. But it is finally out there. And I genuinely hope you guys enjoy. Again, I always have fun making these type of videos because all this is just storytelling, and I love telling stories. So, but anyways, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you like this one or not. Let me know if you guys like the alliance between the Autobots and the Decepticons. Definitely gonna continue this series. I don't think I will do Dark of the Moon because Dark of the Moon is already a good movie to me. I think the next set of movies I'm going to look at is probably, I know Thor Love and Thunder is definitely one. Maybe Black Adam. I might go and tackle phase 2 of the Sonyverse. If you guys want to see that, let me know. If you guys want to see it, I'll go ahead and tackle it. I'll go ahead and knock it out. But if not, it's going to the vault. And I've also been brainstorming a little how to fix the sequel trilogy from Star Wars. I think the next one I do might be a surprise to you guys if you guys have seen the movie. So I took some time to think about it, but the next 2 movies that I'm going to do a how to fix on are
Thor Love and Thunder and 2021's Mortal Kombat.
But anyways, I hope you guys are excited for that. Just because what happened with this one and how long it got delayed, I'm not going to give an exact release date. So those will just come out when they come out, but I'll make sure to try to implement those within my schedule. But anyways, thank you guys for literally everything. I really do hope you guys enjoy this. I'm so excited to for your guys' responses and stuff. But again, like I was saying, thank you guys for the support. We hit 1,000 subscribers so fast. It's insane to me. But make sure you guys, again, like, comment, subscribe or a undead transformer is going to be under your bed, and you don't want that because they're like 40 feet tall. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and